Might explode. Okay, we're recording. Okay, we're live. We're live.
Hi.
We're good.
Yeah, we're live.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and
right
girls? Welcome to the podcast.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Oh God.
Sorry, wrong thing. Oh, my bad.
I am RB3.
We're too close to war right now to go.
Yeah, we're all nervous about.
We can't even do the intro right for this right now.
About the impending war. Well, I mean, hey, it's natural. It's fine. If it's too rehearsed, then you're like a robot, and then people won't want to watch.
That's true.
And one of us is a cat.
And one of us is a dog.
Yo.
Who's the dog?
Therefore, we hate each other by default.
By default. Okay. So, topic of conversation: Star Wars.
Yes.
How do you guys feel about it? When did you start watching Star Wars? When did you realize
so
that? Okay. What are we doing?
Actually, I don't even know where you're at.
What do you mean where I'm at? I'm right here. Where are you?
Well, because you're the only one that said my name's RB.
Okay. Well, I'm RB, so I'll pass it off to either. Well, I'm looking. I can see your screen, so either Bambooshco or you or Cat.
I'm not on my screen.
So
yeah.
Well, I'll
how about Kiba?
That guy. That guy is Bambooshco.
Yeah.
Bambooshco.
I'm Bamboo. What's up?
I'm DJxKiba, and the cat below me.
Wait, what?
Yeah, my you can just call me Connor for now, but name pending.
McMoist, Wabbajack.
McMoist, Wabbajack. We'll
That's
settle that
a cool,
eventually.
cool cat name right there, Connor.
Yeah, as a guess.
One of those legendary names.
See, we should have done Terminator.
Oh God.
Man. We can change topic. Just saying.
I know, right?
We can totally change the topic. Dude, Gun got all fired up about Terminator. Oh my God.
Oh yeah.
Did he really?
That's because I started throwing.
Yeah, he's like this thing doesn't exist anymore, and Gun's like, what do you mean it doesn't exist? But the current topic of discussion is Star Wars. How do you feel about Star Wars? Do you enjoy Star Wars? When did you start watching Star Wars? And do you like what Disney has done to Star Wars?
I have not seen the newest one. I pretty much don't care if I see it or get spoiled on it. It doesn't matter to me. But for people who haven't seen it yet, we got to keep it afloat where we explain it, but not where to the point where.
I think it's been long enough so we could spoil the ending.
Has it?
Yeah,
I don't know what the hell happens.
Kind of in that weird
It's that weird limbo.
You've cared. You've seen it by now.
Let's face it. Even the people who were like big Reylo fans, which if you don't know, Reylo fans are the ones who think that Rey and Kylo Ren should have been in a romantic relationship throughout the new trilogy.
Is that what it is?
And even they hate it because basically the way the film ends. And let's start at the end before we go back to the beginning. And then
I think they wanted a happy ending.
Yeah. So we'll start at the end. And then we'll go back to the beginning, and then we'll go to the middle, and we'll periodically jump back to the end, to the beginning, all the while discussing the middle. Because I feel like that is the best way to just throw darts at a board. All right. But anyway, so the way it ends, you have a MacGuffin, which those of you who don't know, a MacGuffin is a plot device that is inserted at just the right time without any effort of finding it to progress the story along.
That was a weird animal.
So it's the legendary MacGuffin.
No.
So they find this dagger, which 3PO just so happens to know how to decrypt ancient Sith, and it tells them how to find the planet, which, shocker, spoiler alert, if you don't like it, mute it now, Emperor Palpatine has been alive on this planet since he was thrown into the exploding reactor core of the second Death Star. Nobody knows how he got there. Nobody knows how he survived, but he's there. And his goal this whole time was to bring together Ben Solo, or Kylo Ren, and Rey, because they are the opposites in the Force, and he's going to Force train their powers. And basically what he's going to do with that is restore himself. So he gets them there, and Ben Solo turns good. Gets thrown off a cliff immediately. Then Rey starts to fight him. She starts hearing Force Ghost talk to her, telling her how she's all the Jedi now. And then Palpatine has a line where he goes, "I'm all the Sith." And then starts shooting force lightning everywhere, and it's like he's shooting force lightning at like the fleet, and he's taking ships out of the sky, and it's really cool. And then he starts shooting force lightning at Rey, who to this point is a severely untrained, lightsaber force user, picks up both lightsabers, and then proceeds to direct one of the most powerful Sith Lord's abilities back at him, causing him to Michael Bay explode.
You're forgetting that cool feature. She had 2 lightsabers.
I said, yeah.
2.
Yeah,
that was the key right
she
there.
She had 2.
That's cool.
Now, in that explosion, they did something good, which I didn't think they had the balls to do.
Explosion!
In the Michael Bay explosion, she dies. And it's very somber. She dies. She dies in the explosion. But
and
then
that's when the movie should have ended.
But then Ben Solo comes crawling out of the bottomless pit because he didn't die. And he looks over at her, and so his heart grew like 10 sizes that day. And he goes over and he uses his life essence to force heal Rey, which in the process of him healing Rey with his own life essence, it drained his.
Is that the opponent these days?
So as he's dying, Rey kisses him, and then he dies. And then she leaves as the arena that she fought Palpatine in crumbles around her. Everybody, reunites. They're all happy. There's a kissing scene, whatever. There's another topic which we're going to be talking about. Finn's thing that he had to tell Rey, which he never told Rey. So they end up going back to Tatooine. So this is where
I want to touch upon that real quick.
Okay, go. No, just chime in whenever you want, because I'm on a roll.
What the hell was that? When I was watching the movie at the theaters, right?
All right.
It was as soon as Rey got there, and then the guy was like, "Kill me, kill me." And she was like, "No, no." And then at the end, there was like, "Okay, she just fucking killed him." What was the buildup? She couldn't do it before because no, I'm mad at you. I can't kill you. Because I'll turn super Sith.
Because she's super strong.
But now it's like, okay, kill me because you got to kill me because you're killing everybody else.
I mean, I'm gonna take a dialogue from Dictor Von Doomcock, who I recommend you watch a lot of his videos on YouTube. He's pretty good.
Oh, did you just call me?
But it's Overlord DVD, but he goes by.
It's the guy that leaks stuff, right?
Yeah, he goes by Dictor Von Doomcock. And he basically goes, Rey is the bestest ever at everything she does. And that's just like amplified times 10 in this film for whatever reason. Like, there was no journey, there was no nothing, and it ends with her killing the last of the Sith, which we'll get back into this giant plot hole that nobody seems to want to address. We got Will in chat being a toxic troll as always. But so they go back to Tatooine, and she has Leia and Luke's lightsaber. She proceeds to bury them in the sand because her logic is she wants to bury his lightsaber at the place where he was happiest. But if you remember A New Hope, Luke couldn't fucking wait to get off Tatooine. He hated it. He hated sand. But she buries the lightsabers. She goes down into the Lars homestead, which is just blown over with sand at that point. As she crawls back out, she sees like a hermit passing by. And she goes, "What's your name?" And she goes, "Rey." And then she looks off into the distance. And then she looks back, and as she looks into the distance, she sees the Force ghost of Luke and Leia. And she looks back and she goes, "Rey Skywalker."
And then the fucking crowd erupted.
And then roll the credits.
Is that what happened?
Yeah, that's what happened.
Wow.
Not only that, but prior to that, when she's in the homestead, you find out that she built her own lightsaber out of the remains of that hermit staff she had in The Force Awakens, and it somehow has a yellow blade.
Which is one of the most rare ones.
Yeah, because she's the bestest ever.
That also indicates, I know there's like the Grey Jedi used to wield a yellow blade. Was that the theory, if they ever really existed?
The theory about the Grey Jedi is the fact that they would wield a colorless blade because they have no affiliation.
I thought it was yellow, but
no, yellow was the blade of a Jedi Sentinel.
That's where I thought this movie was heading. Honestly, they were going to start doing the gray Jedi.
But like, so there's multiple topics, and like, I'm not trying to like, if you like the movies, you like them. Good for you. I've loved Star Wars since I can remember watching movies, and obviously I watch a lot because
the people who enjoy this movie are just ignoring all the fucking facts. Yeah. Oh, there goes my F word for the.
You said you said
facts. I'm sorry.
You said facts. This is a teen stream. All right, this is a teen stream, so you get one F word per 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Get a timer.
Yeah, if not, this video's not going to be uploaded at all.
Right.
No, we could beep it. I'll beep it.
But there's a good way to do Star Wars content, and there's a bad way. What they tried to do with these films was love or hate 7. I thought it wasn't that bad. Did I like what they did with Han Solo? No. But it wasn't terrible. It was a good setup. 8 took everything that was set up, took it out behind the barn, and shot it in the back of the head for the sake of being controversial. 9 basically tried to be 8 and 9 in one movie with a lot less runtime to cover up all the giant plot holes left by 8. And it struggles extremely hard at doing so.
Is that the whole J.J. Abrams that they're trying to release the what is it?
Well, yeah, apparently it's coming out now that these are like direct sources saying how I saw that. It's like direct sources saying how whenever they went to the premiere,
Stop touching me.
Kiba, what are you doing?
Stop touching me, man. What's wrong with you?
When they went to the premiere, basically the film that they saw in the premiere was not the one that they worked on. And granted, films change, films are modified, but it was already confirmed in the Reddit leaks that, mind you, every Reddit leak I read was true. There were 4
instead or something like that.
There were 4 cuts of the film. There was the initial cut, which they're calling the Kathleen Kennedy cut, who's the president of Lucasfilm, the one who tries to throw a bunch of ideological bullshit into films. There was the Abrams cut. There was the Bob Iger cut, the president of Disney. And then, when all of those scored so horribly in the test screenings, they brought in the guy who should have been doing it from the get-go, George Lucas, and his cut scored the best in the upper 80s with every test screen. But apparently they went with a bastardized combination of the Kathleen Kennedy J.J. Abrams cut, which now it's coming out that they barely used a lot of the J.J. like plot setup.
Oh man.
Which is why there's like large portions of the film that feel like it jumps around and doesn't make sense and it's disconnected. Because there's setup in like the extra hour film that J.J. had that explained and connected everything. So now it's like, what's the point? But that's why everybody's saying like release the J.J. cut.
The Lando scene at the end where he's like, "Do you want to go see the other worlds or some shit like that?"
Yeah.
But it was kind of awkward. Turns out and confirmed
that's his daughter.
That was the daughter.
Yeah. Because when people first saw that, they're like 70-year-old Lando's going for it.
Pedophile over here.
Yeah. They're like, dude, Lando's still got it.
And it turns out it was a daughter. Like,
dude, Lando's best up, man.
Say anything?
Lando's a pimp, dude. But it's I mean that's basically the rundown of it. Now we can get into like the intricacies and how like stuff was changed. And like granted, there's people that hate the prequels. Whatever. I like the prequels because it has some of the most lightsaber action of any. That's why I like it.
But did this at the end of the movie? Did this just ruin the franchise's house? It would have gotten better.
Okay, but speaking of the end of the movie, the plot hole, because Disney's not even nobody's addressing this, and I don't know why nobody's addressing this.
All right,
so when it comes to the Force is based off the premise of yin and yang. There's always good to balance out the bad, or like good and evil. That's like the black and the white part of the emblem.
Yeah.
That's what the Force was constructed on, the dark side and the light side. There's always bad to balance out the good and vice versa. So, not only are all the Skywalkers dead now, and the only surviving active Force user is a Palpatine, which means the Emperor won in the end. But if she's the only one left, what is coming to balance her out? Because she's inherently good with what she did. So is the evil. So like, you know what I mean? And granted, you can say the same thing about the Return of the Jedi, but like a lot of the time it just leaves me speechless, because there's people that are like, this is my favorite Star Wars movie ever. I'm like, okay, you can do that. People like are entitled to it. But I'm like, there's so many holes in it that just, it boggles my mind. Like I don't get it. I really don't.
Is there a book I could read and it's like, if for that movie, is there a book I could read? I think I just understand that better than just watching the movie.
Yeah, read it. You can literally just read the leaks, because the leaks are like spot on.
Okay.
Kiba's deaf.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay, so I know. I saw it in my own means. Thank you. Well, that's like, it just doesn't make sense to me. I know Connor saw it in theaters. I know Kiba saw it in theaters.
Yeah.
From like a viewing aspect. So if you were to view this film, like not being invested in Star Wars, you just want to go see a movie. Did you guys like it?
Yeah, it was eye candy. Okay, if you fucking turn off your brain and then just ignore the fact that they ruined all the characters, yeah, it was a good movie. It had good effects. It had people you could root for, I guess. But I mean, you know, when you walk out of the film, you're like, and then everything hits you, and it's like, well, they fucked up this, they fucked up that, and you're like, fuck this movie. Well, when you're there, you're like, yeah, fuck it, sure. Fucking rays everywhere, all fucking the lightning. That shit was sick. And then the weird backflip she did was she cut the little.
Oh my god, she cut like the TIE fighter in half. Yeah.
I've seen that like a double clip of like the trailer or whatever.
It's in the trailer for the Play on TV.
Yeah, that was literally like the first that was like the launch trailer when they announced the Rise of Skywalker. Yeah,
but imagine watching that shit all big.
For the 40th time, we're like, oh.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. When I saw the screen leak that showed her having a double-bladed red lightsaber, I'm like, you are not gonna do that to Darth Maul. I'm like, no. I don't even care.
You can't do that.
I don't even think they'd be doing anything to Darth Maul.
I'm like,
it'd just be a double lightsaber.
But she wasn't like trained on lightsaber to begin with, and like the thing behind like the saber staff is it's like amplify the difficulty of wielding a lightsaber by 10, because you have to worry about double end. You know what I mean?
And she comes up with the switchblade like, here, look at me with my butterfly knife.
Oh my god, the memes off that, the Swiss Army saber was the best.
I saw that one. That was my favorite. I was like, holy shit.
I saw this YouTube video about a guy actually knows how to use the blade, and he was saying she was using it all wrong. The way that we're fighting and everything, that we're not properly trained in it. Yeah. Like legit, the swings she would do, she would like cut off her head. She like swing it all the way back.
And you know what I find really funny about that is, granted, the original trilogy, the fights weren't like anything spectacular, but they were like a rudimentary sword fight. When you go to the prequel trilogy, they trained with choreographers and like sword masters for hours and hours and hours, and that's why those fights look the way they do. But this new one, it's literally like it's like two kids in the backyard that picked up sticks and started hitting each other.
God.
Oh, dude, can you pull up like examples?
Oh,
there's two kids like beating each other.
It was in The Last Jedi. So the way she was swinging her fucking lightsaber, it was like from one side all the way to the other side, and like literally, that's why the guy was like saying she could literally cut off her head, because when you're supposed to swing, you're supposed to just swing like down the middle. Those were the strikes.
Yeah.
But she was like literally swinging like a fucking like little kid trying to hit a piñata. Honestly, that's what it was.
Well, that was the big controversy whenever they released the what they called the proto saber, or like the ancient model of the lightsaber that Kylo Ren used, because it just thematically it looked cool, and like I thought it like the unstable blade was sweet and everything, but the cross guard plasma saber doesn't make sense. Because like
actually, I kind of like the one thing I heard. Sorry, so the one thing I heard that like Kylo's like the crossguard one is because he never really formally built his saber, and he's kind of like past the point of anyone who knows how to use it.
Okay.
The saber just got too hot, so in order for them to keep it just from exploding in his hand, they needed to put vents on the side, and just
that's
some
what
of the
that's
energy
okay.
out. I don't know if that's what they intended, but I heard that and I thought that was
yeah,
cool.
because it was legit. People were like analyzing it, and they're like, a crossguard was made to stop like slashes from coming down and hitting you in the hand, but they're like, you flick that thing one wrong way and you cut your own hand off. Like everybody who is a prominent character in this movie, apart from Kylo Ren, is not a trained like lightsaber wielder. Like he trained as a Jedi Padawan until like Jedi knighthood went bad, became, a pseudo Sith Lord, and proceeded to lose every hand-to-hand altercation with a girl who just picked up the weapon. I don't understand.
Well, that's the Mary Sue part.
But like people are like, oh, she's so powerful because she's a Palpatine. Well, Anakin Skywalker was conceived by the Force. He's like the Jesus Christ of Star Wars.
Yeah, but he got his butt handed to him and during stuff too.
He got his arm cut off by Dooku, who was one of the most renowned saber duelists in history. The only reason Dooku actually lost to him was because the Emperor told Dooku to play with Anakin. And then after Anakin had him defeated, the Emperor's like, yeah, kill him. And he killed him. It's the only reason Dooku actually like actively lost.
And he took his hand off too.
Yeah.
Remember that shit? Oh fuck. We're
here we got a comment.
Non-sponsored.
Non-sponsored.
Let me
Yeah.
drink this shit in peace.
Hang on, wait. Crossguards.
Not sponsored by salad.
Salad. Crossguards also don't make sense since the sword style for lightsabers is based off Chinese sabers, which don't have prominent guards. Yeah, like it's more. It's almost like a kendo stick almost. Like yeah, like granted it cuts like a blade, but it's based off like the formality of like a kendo stick, which is just a long straight item that you use to hit shit. But I
need to see the movie to understand what the hell's going on right
now.
It's
a more elegant weapon from a more civilized time.
You know what I feel though? I feel like they shouldn't have touched anything. If you look at the books, they actually have the sequels in hand already. A cool, like solid story to follow up to where, like the episode 6 ended. That's it. And then continue that story. But no, they decided to come up with this original bullshit. Which, if you're going to do that, why don't you just start from scrap instead of
like have cameos by the other characters rather than wanting to prominently feature them, but then bend their character arc to fit the storyline of your new character. Who, my biggest gripe, I don't hate any of the new characters, and people might disagree with me on that, but here's the thing. When 7 happened, love it or hate it, it was the first Star Wars we had gotten in how many years? And it had a lot of the nostalgia feels. It was cool. It felt like Star Wars. Was there a lot of intricate stuff? Like, did it make sense for Han Solo to leave his family and become like a derelict dad? To me, that, because the last time we left him, he was like conquering general of the Republic Han Solo.
There's no point for him to leave.
Yeah, like that didn't make sense to me. But they shoehorned in like the Kylo Ren thing, all that. But the new characters,
that's the issue though.
Yeah, the
issue. All the old characters got replaced. Han Solo, Poe's the new fucking Han Solo. I'm not even kidding.
He's like a
Poe was basically the new Han Solo. It's that dumber.
Yeah.
At least Han Solo proved himself so many fucking times. This guy is an idiot throughout the whole fucking movie. All 3 movies.
He okay. So here's where I'll like counter that. When they were all introduced, the baseline characteristics of each of them. Rey was the unknown who for some reason had an affinity and had visions when she touched Anakin's lightsaber. That was cool. Finn was the stormtrooper who went AWOL and joined the Republic because he was tired of what all the stormtroopers were doing. That was a cool story. Yeah. Poe was the all-star fighter pilot who could, you know, bullseye womp rats in a T-16 back home. That was cool. Phasma. And I'll go into the villains now. Phasma. Badass General Stormtrooper. Really cool. Elaborate on her story. Snoke. Evil giant force user on a throne with a ring
fucking joke ever.
With a ring from the Mustafar base of Darth Vader who can control people light years away with the dark side of the Force. Cool. Kylo Ren, the wannabe Darth Vader who could stop blaster bolts with the Force, has a weird cool looking lightsaber, and is relatively pissed off for the majority of that movie. Really cool potential. All of them had so much potential. And then you get The Last Jedi. And
no, hold on. Before you jump to
The Last Jedi. No, go.
Yes, just a second.
Right, because you just talked about the new characters. Right? So that's what I'm saying. All those new characters, they have their old counterparts.
Yeah.
Han Solo, Luke, all of them got replaced.
Yeah.
And killed off or fucking torn apart by their morals, their principles got fucking torn apart.
Yeah.
They did away with Luke. They did away with Han Solo. Leia became a background character. I mean, they didn't do justice to them. Like episode 6 ended so good. They celebrated and everything, and they just brought them back to shit on them. And they presented a bunch of new characters that they hoped you would like. And yeah, like you just mentioned, it sounds good, but the execution just fucking
was terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And I don't blame any of the actors. They can only do what's provided to them in the script. And
pretty much. They have no say.
Like the main gripe with that. So obviously, what they did with Han, I didn't like. Obviously, there's a lot of background stuff there with like Harrison Ford not wanting to come back. Like he was like too old. He wanted to be killed off. I get it.
He was probably like, you guys are gonna kill this. Might as well kill me in the first one.
He knew for some reason. Yeah.
So you kill off Han. Okay, I get it. You want that like catalyst change to make Kylo Ren super evil. You want the rallying cry to allow the good guys to come back and bolster. I'll tell you what though, seeing Chewie go on a rampage with the bowcaster was pretty badass.
That was pretty sick.
But then you come down to the showdown on the crumbling planet in the snow. And it's Kylo Ren, the former Padawan / Jedi Knight, because nobody knows how far he got, even though it's like said that he was actually quite powerful. You have him versus Rey, the scavenger with no training, who found a lightsaber in a storage room of a cantina, a smuggler's den, who just picked it up. And they start to fight, so he toys with them. Granted, Kylo got shot by Chewie, whatever. But Sith are fueled by rage. Now, granted, he's not like full Sith, so he's not going to be like, fueled by rage, hatred, what have you. But proceeds to lose a hand-to-hand combat with the weapon he's trained with for years to her, which doesn't make sense. But then they have the little caveat where like Finn picked up the lightsaber, he ignites it, and he goes into fight, and obviously he gets his ass kicked right away. But even he had more like hand-to-hand combat training than Rey, because he was a stormtrooper.
Bullshit.
So but they were trained. You know what I mean? And like that's where they end it. Yeah, which is it is bullshit. And like that's where they end that, and that's where you like see. And then everybody's like it ends, they fly, R2 lights up, you find where Luke is, you go see Luke, and you're like, okay, he's gray, he's got his hair, he's wearing the robes. This looks like how you would picture Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. And that's where the film ends, where it's like the look of seriousness on his face was like one of two things, where it's like, why are you here, or what has happened to cause you to find me?
Or fucking, I've been waiting for you to fucking train.
Yeah.
That's what I was expecting. Like, shit's about to go down. All right, finally, it's going to make all sense.
So, all right. So that's The Force Awakens.
I was like, all is forgiven, all this bullshit. Because like throughout the movie, I hate myself for doing this, but throughout the movie, I was like, oh yeah, obviously. Oh, come on. Yeah, right on fucking time. Shit. And then it was like, oh, it's because the Force. Everything's
everything's set up by the Force, man.
Saved. Everything was because of the Force, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
It was bullshit.
Okay.
That was my gripe. I was like, she better lose a hand.
Better lose that feet right there.
Episode 8, she has to lose a hand. It's tradition. Nope. I didn't even get that.
Why won't they do like a remake of that, dude? It's like, do something new.
She has to lose a fucking hand, bro.
Why go back to do the remake?
They know how badly
Luke lost a hand. She has to lose a hand.
Like, they know how badly they messed up, and it's to the point where they kind of just don't care. Because even Bob Iger, like the president of Disney, has even been on record as stating, he's like, we just want to finish the trilogy. That way we aren't strapped down by the fandom and what has come before. That way we can move on and make our own Star Wars stories. And to me, that's
then fucking do the fandom justice.
Yeah, to me that's a giant slap in the face, because what did they do as soon as they started? They completely decanonized the expanded universe, which if you leave it canon, there's a lot, and I mean like 30 to 40 years of story there. Through the wars, through the character arcs, through characters that don't even exist on film or game. And even the characters in the games from the EU. My personal favorites, Dash Rendar and Kyle Katarn, because they're badass. And you decanonize that, which that didn't sit well with fans, because all we had was the EU from the time that there was no Star Wars. So then but here's the thing. They decanonize it, but then they want to nitpick little things from the EU to shoehorn in to try and make their film less terrible.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if they did not come off the right off the bat and say all this old stuff is now invalid and you need to all forget about it, the second they produced anything new that contradicted anything, it'd be, oh my god, well, if you would have read this book, you would have seen that Chewbacca got killed by a moon.
I mean, he did. Okay, well, like, they literally dropped a moon on Chewie. That's how he dies.
Yeah, but then you can't. Then when Chewbacca shows up in the movie, because this takes place after 7 or after 6.
Dude, it's like 25 years later. Trust.
But like,
he survived the moon. Obviously,
they had to do that. There was no other way to.
And granted, like, you can change, you can modify characters, you can change things, you can build, you can adapt, but you can't. What I'm saying is you can't tear down, and I'm referring to the current movies, the current canon. You can't tear down what was already established, because when you do that, it completely invalidates work and progression and storyline of years and years and years that have been pre-established before you even thought of the character of Rey. And what I'm referring to is the fact that if you look at Return of the Jedi, Luke finishes training with Yoda. Yoda dies. Yoda becomes the voice in his head with Obi-Wan. He goes unarmed to meet Vader on, civil terms. They talk. He takes him to the Emperor. The Emperor tries to turn him. He won't. He fights Vader. Starts to give into his rage. He deignites his lightsaber. That pisses off the Emperor. The Emperor starts to try to shock him to death. That's what flips Anakin back to the light side, and he throws Palpatine into an active reactor core.
Which George Lucas confirmed he was dead.
Again, MacGuffin. So then, as they're laying there, he talks to him, and then Ryan gets pissed off, which is bullshit. And then Ryan gets pissed off and runs. Jesus. So then he's laying there. He talks to his dad. He's like, tell her she was right. They leave. They talk about it. He sees, Yoda, Ben, and Anakin, and that's how it ends. It's a redemption arc of the most powerful turned evil, went bad, did a lot of bad, ultimately helped and saved the good in the end. And it was in Luke, it was like instilled in him from that get-go, where he's like, he there's still good in him. I know it. That's why he went there to save him unarmed. Okay. So then you shoehorn into what they said in The Last Jedi, where he took Han and Leia's kid and was training him to be a Jedi. He established a new Jedi temple. He was training Padawans. He was bringing everything back, the balance of good and evil. He has a bad dream one night where he sees Kylo falling to the dark side.
I know where this is heading.
So then, what inside him, the guy that confronted Darth Vader, one of the most evil characters in the canon, canonically, what made him want to stand over a sleeping, preteen / teenager, ignite his lightsaber, and debate on just killing him in his sleep? Because he was
asleep too.
Because he was scared. And when you wake up and see somebody you trust, a family member, holding a weapon above you, yeah, you're probably going to be pissed off.
And that's probably what.
And that's why Kylo, his most powerful Padawan, killed the remaining Padawans and burned down the temple. And then Luke ran away, which completely undoes 3 movies worth of character development for the sake of doing it, because it wasn't necessary. It wasn't.
Yep.
And that's the part, like, I've been, people are like, oh, it makes sense for Luke. How? Because granted, Luke's, like, he was a petty teen, like, he grew up, but in Return of the Jedi, once he became Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker, he was Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker. And he just progressed with that character where it ended on the good note. And then the next time we see him, he's a bah humbug. He's basically the Grinch. Turns into the Grinch of the Force. And the only reason we get is the director they brought in with no merit under his belt goes, I wanted to do something controversial that if you leave the theater loving it or hating it, I did my job.
That's literally what he said.
That's literally that verbatim in an interview. That's what he said. Like,
whoa.
Like
that's something.
Yeah, Ryan, I have no respect for Rian Johnson. I'm sorry. Because he, like, even the fans were like, it doesn't make sense for the character. And as soon as some people disagreed with that film, they had the media and the people that worked on it, and even the director, they're like, well, everybody, you're racist or you're misogynist because you don't like, characters of color or strong female characters, or you're just a man baby who can't let go of the past and blah. Well, it's like reading the story of Frankenstein and completely counteracting that Frankenstein was just a grizzly bear who got shaved and taught how to talk. You completely eliminate the journey. You completely eliminate the development of a character for the sake of doing so. Makes no sense to anybody who's followed the story or the franchise for that long. And I don't get it. I don't.
Well, that's I think this is exactly the point that these new fans do not fucking get. Like, I'm probably the oldest one here, but I'm fucking 33. Like, I grew up with these movies. I grew up with the original trilogy. Then I saw the older ones at the theaters, and I was like, hell yeah, but it made sense. Yeah, they bored me to death, but I was still captivated by the story. It made sense. It led up to what I loved, what I grew up with. And that shit came full circle. It literally just ended right there. Redemption, and that was it. They could have ended right there. I wouldn't have. I was like, oh, new Star Wars movie. Okay, yeah, but I was hoping that it would have been a new story, not brought up a bunch of old stuff back. But well, that's what I'm saying. What the new fans don't understand is this was already established. This was, this people that just looked at Luke for the first time did not know why the old fans were angry about, honestly. And the whole PC shit and oh shit, I should not touch that. Subject.
I mean, you can touch on it. Crazy, I mean, if you're doing something that's completely fictitious and like in a fantasy universe or in a galaxy far, far away, you shouldn't try to shoehorn in real life agendas and policies and I say politics, but not like actual politics, but like personal agendas, mind you.
Yeah.
Into said storyline, because when you do that, it comes off as pandering to a certain kind of audience, and it just looks bad. Which is like the entirety of the Canto Bight scene. Granted, like there's gambling, there's bad things that happen, enslavement, slavery, it's all bad. Everybody knows that. It's been covered many, many times. But to dedicate, wow, I'm like flustered. To dedicate an entire portion of a fantasy space opera, which is what Star Wars used to be, to that kind of just takes the wind out of the sails of it, just a little bit.
Just a little.
Just a tad. You have
I think I
anything
need
to
to
say?
see it,
We
so
can
I know
do
what's
what
going
all
on.
the same people do. Just that the new Disney trilogy, it's its own story. Luke, Leia, Han Solo are not even in there. Just pretend they're not in there. You can enjoy the movies. Just pretend they're not in there.
The only thing that gives me hope is the fact that someone, and I don't know how true this is, but apparently Bob Iger is on record as saying Jon Favreau is the next George Lucas. Because I've watched The Mandalorian twice now. Like the entire season twice.
You watched like episode 1 through 8?
Yes.
I need to see the last one still.
It
The last
is
episode.
I need to finish it, too.
phenomenal. It is
I
everything.
finished
It is everything a Star Wars anything should be in the modern day. It's so well done. The writing is done well. The acting is done well. The action's done well. It all makes sense.
But what happened to the movie where it's like you turn to dust? But Mandalorian, it's like, wow, this is so good. Why can't they just put this into the movie too?
They're
That's
actually
what everybody's saying. Legit saying.
like it's that good. To me, it is that good. I actually thoroughly enjoy it.
The Witcher's better.
I haven't seen it yet. I wouldn't
No
doubt
spoilers
that.
for me. I need to see that.
I'm more of a Star Wars fan than I am a Witcher fan. I will be first and foremost about that.
Noodle said 7 through 9.
I can pick and choose parts out of it that, you know, I can enjoy. But there's just, if they would have done 7, 8, and 9, like if Jon Favreau would have done 7, 8, and 9 how he did the first season of The Mandalorian, I think we would not be having the conversations we'd be having, quite frankly. And
well, I think the real question, if J.J. Abrams would have been able to do what he wanted, like legit what they promised him, according to the rumors,
the new leaks, yeah,
maybe he would have done justice.
I think so, because it's literally, there's a reason that like the media blew up right before the premiere of Trust, and that's because even the actors were coming out and saying how much they hated The Last Jedi and working on The Last Jedi, and like
wasn't John Boyega?
Yeah, John Boyega was like a lot of the stuff they didn't make sense, you know, character wise.
Yeah, he was like, I guess he recently came out and like talked about how he's making fun of the Reylo thing.
Yeah, all the fans that are
it was
like
forced.
in what that's like. It's like Voldemort making out with Hermione.
It's hot. That's real hot.
God. What universe?
Sneaky snake. But like, it's
so one thing you got to notice too, like the whole Palpatines too.
Oh god.
You could tell that was edited in because Palpatine the only times you see him are with Reylo.
Mm-hmm.
Legit. They're like at the very beginning of the movie, at the very end.
Yeah,
that's what's on over on my.
That could have been. So they added him last second. That's what they were saying. Palpatine got edited in.
They were trying to cover their asses by telling the media that Palpatine was planned to be in the franchise from 7.
And there's so many videos disproving it. So.
Colin Trevorrow, who was had solo directorial and production right on 9, and Kathleen Kennedy fired him for creative differences, which means he probably didn't want to pander to something. They still gave him writing credit because they used some of the dialogue that he had written, but even he came out and said, he goes, any money my name makes off this film is going straight to children's charities. He goes, because I don't want anything to do with it. And he came out and said that no, Palpatine.
That's his reason.
But he goes, the character of Palpatine, that arc was added in one of the reshoots.
One of my viewers said
that's what it was. They literally just they did the beginning and the ending of the movie. That was the only times you see Palpatine.
Yeah, because this is like JJ did 7 and they didn't know if he was coming back for 8. But what he was told, and he had like the 3-movie plot, he had the 3-movie plan like laid out, and it's like the George Lucas story with Bob Iger. JJ had it written out. Rian Johnson essentially threw it away, did what he wanted, dumpster fire, and then JJ was given, the scraps and told, here, fix this. And even though he did what he had to fix it, it wasn't even what he did. It was what Lucasfilm wanted you to see. Because to this day, they still refuse to fire the people at Lucasfilm that, you know, abuse the fans online and, you know, say whatever they want without any repercussion. Because apparently those people think they're better than everybody else, even though, you know, you're small-brained homunculi.
Whoever did the RTS trailer spoiled the movie with the Palpatine laugh drop.
Yeah.
I have a question though.
Okay.
Are we really stuck with this? Like, this is it?
Let's see. This is.
I mean, is there any off chance that we can literally get like a fucking remake?
What, a remake? Wait, we want a remake if they're coming to movie every year?
Like a fix the story movie?
It would be like, here's a book.
Honestly,
because I know
I'd rather see my Game of Thrones season 8 fixed before I see this.
Oh, I think we all do.
I don't want to talk about that right now.
Next podcast for that one. We got to set up
We're
next podcast
stuck
for
with
that.
that now too. Fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next podcast can be season 1 through 7 versus season 8.
Don't say we didn't.
Oh, dude, I'm all fired up now.
But what like what you guys were saying about like Palpatine being ended in, like, yeah, it really didn't make any sense. You could kind of tell it was kind of just like a last minute thing.
Active reactor core.
If this was built up from like the 7th movie, maybe they could have, if they had time to develop it and do whatever. Sure, maybe you could get more people on your side, but it just felt so rushed and just like, we're out of options. What do we do? They like this guy. Here, go. Puppet.
Plus, we're doing this like every year. It's just like, no, don't do it every year. At least spread it out. It's going to come like 2 years later, so you can at least have some ideas.
Yeah, that's another thing. So there was I know the last movie that came out, Solo, came out pretty quick after that, and a lot of people were like, well, I'm kind of over Star Wars because, Return of the Jedi wasn't really, not Return of the Jedi.
Last
Jedi. Last Jedi.
The protagonist of that movie too, right?
Last Jedi was, they were saying it's not that great, but it's okay because it's whatever. I'm kind of burnt out in Star Wars.
I'm under the firm belief that was Jake Skywalker on that planet. That's not Luke.
Jake Skywalker.
Yeah, his name's Jake Skywalker. He's a hermit.
Now, have any of you guys seen
Luke Skywalker had a twin the entire time? Fuck it.
Have any of you guys seen either Solo or
Rogue sorry. One? I mean,
I've seen Rogue One.
It was triplets.
So, okay, here's another thing, because this is proof that they can do a good Star Wars movie under the Disney belt. Rogue One, to me, was really good.
It was good. It's like,
really good. And
I didn't know it went to the backstory of that.
Dude, I had no idea. And the very end, I think I had the largest nerd boner I've ever had in my life. Because as soon as I'm standing there and you hear the respirator and the lightsaber ignites, and then it's like, it's fresh Darth Vader. And he just goes absolutely apeshit and kills everybody. And it's just like, if that's what they can do that throughout an entire movie. But no. We got stuck with what we got stuck with.
Well, even like
love that
Solo
movie.
got some hate, but if you ever go back and rewatch Solo is actually pretty good.
It's not terrible. I will be honest with you. I watched it.
It got a lot of hate when it came out, and because a lot of people were like, they're pretty salty about the state of where everything was at, and
I can tell you, Solo bombed because
it bombed big time. But it's actually pretty good. If you go back and rewatch it.
No,
like a different sense to it.
It's even a group that I can consider myself. It's called the Fandom Menace. Like, it's just the Star Wars fans that, felt attacked.
Just do what I told you to do. Just ignore it. Just pretend Luke, Leia, and
it's another one of the gaming companies have started to come to light with it too. And it's the same thing with movie production. That gamers. So The Last Jedi, divided the fan base really badly. You had the people who were like, it was revolutionary. And then you had the people like, what in the blue hell was that I just witnessed? You had people leaving that theater, like, tweeting, going, I'm just sad. Like, that wasn't like that wasn't what Star Wars is supposed to be. Like you can watch the original trilogy and there can be moments where like Han Solo gets frozen in carbonite and you're like, well, shit. Or like, you know, the iconic like I know, or you know, Luke gets his hand cut off and he's like, I am your father. There's moments that are like, you know, desperation, sadness, things like that. Ben Kenobi dying, sad. He comes back and helps. Moments, yeah. Classic movie moments with RB. But then you can't just like, to me The Last Jedi is the absolute character destruction of an established, developed idol of millions of people, because he started out and he went on a journey and he became the hero. And anybody who wants to say that they didn't like The Last Jedi because, you know, racist, misogynist, sexist, there's plenty of franchises that are very, very successful that have predominantly female leads.
Yes.
Let me name you a couple.
Aliens.
Alien, Terminator, before it got weird.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider. Tomb
Raider's good.
It's all.
And, you know, actually, Halloween, because Laurie Strode's a badass.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just to name a few. When you have a character who you want everybody to look up to and idolize, even though they go on no journey, they get handed everything. And I can give you a little list of what everything means, by the way. Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber, which you now market as Rey's lightsaber, you bastards. You hand her the Millennium Falcon. You basically hand her Chewbacca and R2. You hand her Leia's lightsaber, the ability to use the Force, Luke's X-wing, Palpatine's lightning. The name Palpatine. She identifies as a Skywalker. Let's get that straight. A lightsaber color that we haven't seen in any movie. The ability to use Force powers that we haven't seen even by people like Master Yoda. I can keep going, but I'm just gonna vomit all over my keyboard.
When you talk about getting handed something, I mean, look at episode 4 within the first half hour of meeting Luke Skywalker. It was like, here's a lightsaber, kid. Don't stick it in your eye.
Yeah, but did he proceed to go and beat Darth Vader with it in that movie?
No, he then proceeded to put a blindfold over and miraculously smack lasers out of the sky from a robot droid.
He got shot like 3 times.
Hey,
it was a training droid.
I know, right?
Survivor.
You actually got to see him train too.
You didn't get his
development training, man.
I saw a little bit of Rey training in the other movie just because it made no sense.
Her canonically training.
She had no training before fighting Kylo Ren.
No, none. She just flew around a lot.
That's all it was. Dang.
She literally had no training at all before.
And somehow she becomes a master kung fu Jedi person and just starts kicking people's butts, right?
The big thing that doesn't make sense to me still is that Finn picked up that lightsaber, ignited it, he was a trained military like stormtrooper, trained in hand-to-hand combat. They were trained with shock batons, which were like similar to vibroblades. They can reflect the plasma in a lightsaber.
I don't think they're all trained, but I do believe, I don't know.
But it's like part of the basic training. Like you're gonna do shooting, you're gonna do hand-to-hand.
You gotta learn, yeah.
I mean,
and he literally got taken.
Our military.
He got taken out like that. But her, she can go up and like, you know, use the Force while fighting him off and win. Which doesn't make sense. Because the first time Luke ever fought Vader, even after being trained by Master Yoda, because he left in the middle of his training to go save his friends, because he could sense it, what happened? He got his ass kicked, his hand cut off, and thrown off of Bespin. That's Cloud City for you people who don't know that in the new franchise.
You people.
And when I say you people, I mean everybody who does not know Bespin. Look it up. It's the home city.
I probably will.
Home city of Lando Calrissian.
I probably will. I'll be like, oh shit.
That's actually a weird lore question. Was he what was he in Bespin? Was he like the mayor?
He's just a smuggler.
Well, no. When you meet him in Empire Strikes Back, he's like he runs Bespin. You know what I mean?
Does he though?
I mean, that's
I
what
thought he was just.
so it's like
there.
portrayed as, or is he just kind of like there?
Just be there.
Okay. To me, it was always like portrayed as
like a nightclub or something.
To me, it was always portrayed as he had some kind of like power there because he had like servants and people like following him around. You know what I mean? That was always like weird to me. I don't know.
I don't think they explain it.
Nah.
No, I don't think they do either.
But
just kind of there.
Well, see, here's another thing. So a lot of the cameos in Tross, like, how many of those new people gave an ounce of a shit that Wedge Antilles was the Millennium Falcon gunner? Anybody? Oh, you want to know another thing they gave Rey? They gave her Luke Skywalker's call sign from his X-Wing. Bastards.
Now, is that reflected to the ship, or is that the person?
It's the ship's call sign, so it makes sense. I'm just bitching about it.
Okay, you're just.
So the new
I'm just salty, all right?
Well, yeah, I know you are. Trust me.
We're almost in the hour of the podcast right now, just talking about Star Wars.
It's just salt. It's all salt.
It's all. Oh my God, that's the name of the podcast.
Does anybody want to defend the new Disney trilogy?
It's all salt. So the rumors I've heard of it, and apparently none of the actors from this past trilogy want to return because of how bad everything has gone. Yeah.
Wow.
There has been a rumor, and I don't know how true this is, because to me this would be immaculate. Keanu Reeves as Darth Revan, because they've already made it canonical that
like a rumor about that.
Yeah. They already made it canonical that Darth Tenebrous exists, who was the Dark Lord of the Sith, like the Sith Emperor for millennia, because he could cheat death and like transfer his life essence. That's in the Old Republic. And Darth Revan, who Knights of the Old Republic, like Jedi Knight, turned Sith Lord, went back to Jedi Knight, fought the Emperor, beat him, was imprisoned, still alive like hundreds of years later. Keanu Reeves even looks like how Darth Revan is portrayed in the games, and it's phenomenal, and I'm super excited.
But I don't think like just putting a big actor into the movie is going to solve the problem. But I think it's going to at least be like put a good story into it. Then we'll figure out if it's going to be good for this character.
Oh, this is my last griping point. The president.
It's not his last.
It really is. It really is.
I was like,
listen. Ask me if this makes sense to you. The president of Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, who has.
I thought she was fine.
We should get you private. We should see an interview with her.
I know, right?
I would love an interview with her to ask her like points. Let her call me a racist misogynist because I don't like her terrible films.
So what was your shit laced with when you made all these decisions?
That flex.
But I like, granted, she has like slight producer rights.
I gotta see her filmology or whatever she's done.
She's been in like minor production roles on like some Spielberg films. But my question, and this was right before the release of Tross, and she was in a roundtable interview. And they were talking about Marvel and how Marvel does all their films and they have all their backing and all that. And she goes, unlike Marvel, Star Wars doesn't have decades of novels and comics and already developed story that we can dive into to get ideas from. Wrong choice of words, because you shot yourself in the foot when you decanonized every great idea that was better than the terrible films you've released.
I'm gonna just give you I just looked up Kathleen Kennedy and some of the films she's produced in.
I know, that's what I just looked at right now.
Although she has some really good movies in here,
right?
She also has some garbage in here.
She's had very minor roles in those big films.
She was executive producer for. This is just some of the early stuff.
Jurassic Park 3.
Back to the Futures 1, 2, 3.
Wow.
Okay.
The original Jurassic Park, she was the producer for it.
Nice.
She did Gremlins. She was the executive producer.
Okay.
Well, that movie.
I don't really know how much an executive producer does to a normal producer.
Okay.
Jurassic Park. Schindler's List, executive producer.
Oh my god.
The what?
Congo, she was a producer. She was the executive producer on fucking Balto. Oh, freaking Balto. My bad.
Demonetized.
I said I swore.
She was
the executive producer for Best of Roger Rabbit. Twister.
Oh.
Twister.
No, Twister.
Wait, Twister?
Yeah, Twister, The Sixth Sense, Jurassic Park 3, Signs. Everyone loves Seabiscuit.
Oh my god.
She was the producer for War of the Worlds.
Oh, I like that movie.
Everyone likes these movies. But then we get into some garbage here.
I'm listening.
She was the executive producer for Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
Oh, that's when I'm tanked. Huh?
Also, the executive producer for the Last Airbender movie.
Oh,
good thing I've never seen it.
The live action one.
Oh,
she was like this, and she went like that.
Oh,
yeah, I think that's what happened.
She was a Tintin. I never saw it. I don't care. Lincoln producer. Yeah.
Executive producers are somewhat half cred and half who can help us sell. Okay.
And she was the producer for Rogue One and Solo. So I don't know what happened with the mainline.
Oh,
because she does have a backlog. I'll give her that. She's got a backlog.
She's got a backlog.
She did good at Rogue, but Solo? Really?
But here's the thing. She hasn't had a major creative role in any of those. You know what she had a major creative role in? Star Wars, because she controlled the company that made the decision. She brought in the directors and the writers to do these things, and she greenlights whatever goes into the script. So
you're saying
she can supply money to things, but whenever
she was the same role for Rogue One and Solo that she was for the other three.
Yeah.
So and she had the same power.
Yeah. And see, here's the difference. Rogue One, I like it. One of the best ending scenes ever. Solo,
he likes it.
Solo, not so much. Still a really good ending scene because you find out that the surviving Darth Maul runs the Black Sun gang. But the rest of them just...
I'll take this after.
The rest of them just... And, like, you can see it through, like... They had directors just let go and replace because of creative differences. Because Colin Trevorrow even said, he goes, I wasn't going to use half the stuff they wanted me to use for 9. And they let him go. What did he want to use that they made him go? That didn't, mesh with what they wanted. Because now apparently they hogtied J.J. Abrams and didn't let him do half the shit he wanted to do to fix it. And now we're stuck with probably one of... Like, this Star Wars trilogy is season 8 of Game of Thrones. Which is why they did not... They canceled those two creators' movies. That's why. Because they had them signed on, they had their deal ready, they had everything up to par, and then all of a sudden all the backlash happened. Season 8 happened. They canceled a bunch of comic show appearances, and then
apparently they did not know what the fuck they were. They didn't know what they were doing.
Because here's the big kicker. Here's the big kicker that a lot of people don't understand about Game of Thrones. Because I fell down that rabbit hole long ass time ago. I love the books. The novels are great. I can't wait for the new ones. Please, George R.R. Martin, release them soon. The only reason he greenlighted HBO, yes. The only reason he greenlighted HBO doing that franchise, he gave them a stipulation. The creators behind the show had to correctly guess Jon Snow's parents. That was the stipulation.
Never fallen too deep for Game of Thrones, but I did enjoy it. But I lost it.
And they guessed who Jon Snow's parents are, which in the show you find out it's a Targaryen and a Stark, a wolf and a dragon. Okay. But apparently George R.R. Martin stopped helping with creative somewhere between 5 and 6, which you can then start to see the downturn. Because the show went from being it went from being like a fantasy, you know what I mean? Like how it had all those aspects to it, to where it just started to try and appeal to modern audiences with big explosions like Michael Bay.
Okay. You could tell by the way they were speaking too. It used to be stories and really cool comebacks And then they just started to say like a bunch of profanity, way more, and like their dialogue became really simple. You could tell it wasn't part of the books anymore. There's a huge difference.
It was just like a stereotypical thing. Like there were so many like holes in that story, and there's so many characters that they just kind of like shuffle. Like Catelyn Stark, Lady Stoneheart.
Oh God!
Her throat was cut so deep, she was brought back by blood magic, and she becomes Lady Stoneheart. And her only goal is to kill the Lannisters who betrayed her family. But they didn't show any of that.
She kills Brienne.
Yeah, she kills Brienne of Tarth.
That's crazy.
Like, bro.
So there's a bunch of dead characters who are still alive, and vice versa. Which is crazy.
Dude, Euron Greyjoy. This pissed me off. He like leads a cult that worships like an ocean blood deity, and apparently they have control over like a kraken and a bunch of this monstrous shit in the books that we never even get mention of because he's like a player trying to sleep with Cersei. I know we're off topic right now, but like this is definitely going to be a podcast.
Well, we should switch it. Well, we got to switch to other stuff too because we've been talking about Star Wars.
But
started.
That's just a little preview of the next podcast, ladies and gentlemen.
And then surprise, actually, Game of Thrones is in the same world as Star Wars.
Oh my God!
It's an expanded universe.
It explains so much.
Wait, what?
It's like Jon Snow's Luke Skywalker, and you just throw him to the side.
Oh no, dude!
That's what he became.
I'm not even kidding. Look, that island that Luke was in, that was one of the islands.
Oh God!
Of the Game of Thrones.
Oh yeah, Octo is an annexed island to the south.
Oh,
that's actually where Arya is sailing at the end of season 8. She's going.
So
she's
we talked about
an
hour and 6 minutes about Star Wars. What was the next topic that we're going to go through?
I'm kind of on the Game of Thrones bandwagon.
Game of Thrones.
I just don't want to talk about that right now. I gotta rewatch the whole thing again.
Touch on, Game of Thrones is always going to be a stain and underwear you threw away.
Yeah.
But I really want to touch on Terminator because
that'd be a good one.
I still haven't seen the new one yet.
Ooh. Ghostbusters.
I don't know what to say about that, but I want to say a lot.
Ghostbusters.
Yeah. Ghostbusters.
The new one with the Stranger Kids,
like the franchise Ghostbusters.
You know that just because of that trailer, a bunch of SJWs got mad at it because they rebooted it. Crazy.
I'm looking forward to this new movie.
It was a giant middle finger for the fact that they go into the basement and you see like he's like, I collect spores, molds, and fungus, and you see spores, molds, and fungus, and then she pulls back the jumpsuit and it says Econ Spangler, and I'm like, oh, and then it's like you know what this is? It's a ghost trap. It's like there hasn't been a ghost sighting in almost 30 years, which completely erases that film.
Yep,
totally erases it. And now everybody's mad because, you know, they're pandering to fans. And literally, the guy directing that film is the son of the guy that did the original too. And he's doing it to honor his father and to honor Harold Ramis and all the original actors and characters.
I'm a champion for this film.
Oh, 100%.
To go see it.
100%.
Yeah. It's going to be good.
All right.
I'm definitely looking forward to it.
But we'll I vote. Well, let's put out a poll for the next topic.
I don't even think the last Ghostbusters was that horrible. I mean, I wasn't crazy about it, but
it was good. But just
like if it was okay, if that or the original was on, which one would you rather watch?
Oh, I mean, I'm gonna go to the original.
Oh, come on, right? You can't beat it. You can't beat that. Come on.
You really can't do that.
They were also blaming that on an editing. It was a mess. There was like chopped up films. They just thrown together. Honestly. What is up with all this editing stuff? You literally just make a whole new story with a bunch of random ass films. Is that what's going on?
I mean, that's what happened with Tross. They're
bringing people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I figured maybe they could just release the J.J. Abrams cut and be like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, no, that's. I feel like if we actually got to see it, because the one big gripe with a lot of the critics was how the film jumped around so much. and how it was like, you know, you're here, jump cut. You go to these people, jump cut. You go back to these people, jump cut. Now you're on this planet, jump cut. Now they find this thing, jump cut. There's no, there's no slow, like, gradual story arc or progression with it, where it's like, if you had it's the little intricate parts that happen in between that let it flow and mesh together. And when you don't have that, you get what you get with Tross, which is just jump cut, jump cut, jump cut, jump cut.
I mean, I can't be the only person who likes to see their superheroes grow.
Yeah.
I like to see growth. I like to see him struggle from the beginning and then just become that badass at the end where, like, because guess what? You earned it.
Yeah, that would be good. Yeah.
I'm a fan of the redemption arc.
Yes. They could have had a redemption arc with Ben Solo. Just saying.
They did, and it lasted 5 minutes, and it wasn't great.
It lasted 5 minutes, and then he died. And then he didn't even get to be a Force ghost.
In the dumbest way ever, too.
I really feel like the last one just suffered, though, from just what they missed out on 8. And
yeah, literally.
I feel like if 8 would have been... If they would have just filled a couple more gaps in an 8 and didn't do... If they would just erase 8, do it again.
And like, let me rephrase this. I'm okay with Luke Skywalker dying if it's in honor of the character, how he should.
Like how he goes out, it would be phenomenal.
As much as we said we love seeing our character or heroes getting beat down, it's also good to see some very important good guys get just, you know, these super overpowered juggernauts. You love to see them get beat down from time to time. Like
I'll even use the story that they had in The Last Jedi, when Luke is standing in front of Kylo and the gorilla walkers. If you had Kylo order all those walkers to fire on Luke, and you see him just start freezing it, like he freezes the blaster bolts long enough for everybody to escape, and then you see the Falcon go out, and then Luke just slowly fades, just like Ben did. That would have been so much better than having him project himself while he's still on his hermit island and then disappear.
Yeah,
let him show.
He would have gone off his ass and went to the actual planet. I would respect it more.
Let him show himself being the Luke Skywalker we know, like Jedi Master Luke Skywalker. Give him one last hurrah. You didn't give him a last hurrah. You let him go out, you know, with a whimper.
Because he knew he couldn't get hurt. Like, that's fucking...
Yeah. Like
that's cheating.
That was one thing I was going to say earlier about what you were saying about, like, the new one. Especially with Episode 9, what you saw was there were no consequences at all. It's like every time something bad happened, they immediately redacted it. And it was like, okay, well, oh, man, that sucks. That's real bad. But hey,
oh my God,
guess what? It didn't happen. Everything's okay. Smile,
oh,
kids.
Chewie died. Oh, it was another ship?
That was one of the biggest things. It was like they had to find that relay on the main Sith Fleet ship. But then, oh no, they moved it to this ship. But oh no, now we don't need to go get it this time, so we can just go back. Which, by the way, how do you ride a horse in space? Come on.
Space horse.
Space horse.
Come on. Space is a thing. Like, the vacuum of space is a thing. Especially in Star Wars.
In space. They were with an atmosphere.
Oh my God.
It was a planet.
They're inside a planet.
Why not? They can make up anything they want.
It was just the atmosphere there that was hostile. They couldn't get out. That was the thing.
Okay.
Of course.
Yeah. No, but like the whole consequence, like you had like the whole Chewbacca scene where he, you know, they thought he died, which, by the way, if they actually did Chewbacca off like that, that'd be...
Oh, God.
I think we'd be more furious about that.
Oh, my God. I'd be livid.
Chewbacca holds the whole story for Star Wars.
If they would have killed Chewbacca, okay. But if they killed Chewbacca like that, oh, boy.
Oh,
he's one of the only characters, like, granted, he got turned into a chauffeur, but he's one of the only characters they really didn't do dirty.
Yeah, if they did it, it'd just been like, that. No more Star Wars ever again. They would be like, throw everything out. Yeah.
Because even the C-3PO bit in the new one, where they were like, oh, this is, you know, we're going to have to erase his memory. And C-3PO even volunteers saying, yeah, this is for the greater good. He willingly sacrificed, you know, whatever he had to do to reboot his brain.
Yeah.
But that was good.
And then just R2D2 had a backup of him, so it was like, oh, all that meant nothing.
Forget about really did. I forgot about that.
Forget about that sad scene you just saw, because he's back and he just doesn't remember the last 10 years, you know.
Dude, how about social media attacking Anthony Daniels, the actor who played C-3PO, for saying that he felt like his character and like some of the other originals were relegated to like just props.
That's literally what I said.
Props, basically.
Are they props, or are they just part of the story?
Yeah,
honestly, if you take out Luke Skywalker, like let's say she goes to the island, he's dead. There's like some old lady there, and she's like, "Oh, he left all this stuff."
I'll just read it.
Ray literally trained herself. Leia was the one that trained her afterwards. I mean, there was nothing. Luke didn't contribute to anything. Am I wrong?
But
I mean, basically,
what do you do?
If Luke not being there, what would be the whole point? They'd be like, "Yeah, this is part of Luke's thing."
He like RB just said, he was a prop. He was there for the old fans. He literally didn't do shit.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he doesn't have to do anything. Just more like train. He could do train like what he did with Yoda did.
He didn't train her. He was just like.
I'm saying F. I'm saying F.
Let me drink my weird ass milk and shake. Get off me. No, what are you doing? And then she takes off. And then he appears in The Last Jedi at the end, where like he does that projection thing. That's it. That's literally the only thing he does. He's just some mean ass old dude at the end.
I was always still like a believer that they should have had it so that he, like, this is completely outlandish, but if he like double projected himself, so like the beginning of Tross would have been like you go in and you see his like robe floating away, and then you go to a scene where his eyes open and Luke's meditating in the first Jedi temple, and he's like, "All right, she's ready," and then he goes and finds her.
Okay, that would have been pretty cool for that.
Like, and anything to change the monstrosity that was The Last Jedi. Like, even that beginning would have made The Last Jedi to me okay. There was a way to fix it, and they wanted nothing to do with it. And we got what we got. So
I think you're right. They could have easily fixed him. Like, hey, he wasn't dead.
He was so powerful that he's like, he knew they would find, like, he knew someone would find him, and he had to make sure that it was the right person. And after he saw like that she was what he needed her to be, like she was like willing to be trained, like was like a pseudo chosen one, then he could finally come back and, you know, show what he knows.
Oh, dude, imagine if he was like faking the whole time.
Oh my god.
Faking being senile.
It was all just
being senile. Oh god.
Yeah, no, and at the end of imagine if this was the ending. So he double projected, right? And he's like, now she's ready. And like, but he's actually a badass, like how we thought he was the entire time. Oh my god. Mind blown.
Well, here's another thing. They tried to make it like he didn't want anything to do with it, but then they also added on the fact that, because you remember how when Luke first met Yoda, and Yoda was just like batshit crazy. Like essentially he was just like the weird alien in the swamp. That's kind of they kind of started to go that route with him, but they didn't go that's the one thing with a lot of movies and a lot of games and stuff. It's like they push something so far, but when it's about to go over that edge of like being more, they pull back because they're nervous and they don't want to commit. So it's like, you want Rey to be strong, okay, push it, but no, we're going to pull back and don't commit. Okay, you want Luke to be, you know, the savior, the Jedi, but now he doesn't care about anything. So you push it so far, but then you pull back and you don't commit. Like, at least if you're going to do something terrible, commit to it. At least then I can give you, like, props for doing that.
All right. I got it. Since we already went past the hour, I say, how would you have fixed this Disney trilogy, given justice to everybody? Legit question. On an ending note, I guess.
I like this. I like this. I like what he's done here.
Ending note. Who wants to start?
Instead of
just leaving it as it is. Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I personally would
keep it simple. If they just don't do the Raylo stuff and keep Ben alive, and then the title would have made sense. Rise of the Skywalker. Ben Solo, basically the bloodline of the Skywalker. If he would have taken the Skywalker name, that would have made more sense to me, or something rather than her. I think I would have forgiven the movie. How I would do a totally different story, but I think that's how, like, I would try to put a bandage on it, I guess.
Get that?
Like, don't kill off Ben Solo.
The way I would have it.
That's why I keep calling this movie The Rise of Palpatine, because that's literally it.
Because the last person left's a Palpatine.
That's what I'm saying. Why don't kill Ben?
Like, the Emperor won. That's what I don't get. Like, that's one thing a lot of people, like, if you look at it, he won. Palpatine won. The way I would actually fix it. Some people might love it. Some people might hate it.
I'm already hating it.
I know you are.
He's on board.
So what I said about Luke, like, being, like, you know, powerful, having trained for years, you know, the Jedi holocrons, the Jedi text. Have him be visually seen training Rey, showing her new things that he learned, showing her how to fight, how to control her
fucking powers came from, right?
Yes. Have them go to where Leia and everybody is before, you know, whatever final fight. You know, they track down the Emperor, they find the thing. The rest of the movie can, like, stay the way it is, honestly. They find the thing. Luke goes, and he basically tends to his dying sister. And whenever she goes, you know, shouldn't you be there to help them? He goes, I've already done all I can. He goes, it's on them now. And that puts his faith in the new characters that need to, like, they need to do what they need to do. So
that makes sense, though.
They go face Palpatine. He, like, you know, he drains them. He throws Ben. He starts shooting lightning. You see him start to do things that an all-powerful Sith Emperor should do. He shoots lightning, you know, dark drain, plague, what have you, and let him basically beat Rey. Have him start to approach her as he's draining her, and then basically have it switch to where he's basically starting to corrupt her to make her his new Vader. And basically show, like, her eyes start to change to, like, the Sith orange. Have it, like, a slow progression. And then as it goes, you pan back, you see Leia die, she disappears. And then you see Ben reappear behind Palpatine with a green lightsaber, and he cuts his head off.
Right.
You want a redemption arc? You let Luke put his faith in the next generation, the ones that they tried to, like, preach up.
Oh shit!
You want Rey to be the front and center. You want to have it so that she isn't all powerful. She can't do it alone. And the Skywalker rises.
Give this guy a director seat, man.
Because with the death of one Skywalker, another rises. That being Ben Solo, Ben Skywalker, because he's half Skywalker.
Got that blood in him.
They needed to keep him alive.
That's how I would have ended it.
I think that was the. I think if they would have started his redemption arc a little earlier.
Yeah, because it was rushed. It was definitely rushed.
I thought the whole concept of these rogue stormtroopers on this planet, I thought that was a really cool concept. It was like, oh yeah, if they would have maybe showed that before and been like, they're already out there, be ready for them.
Yeah.
By the way, they don't use speeders; they use horses for reasons.
Yeah, no, that's there's ways you could do something that honors the characters that are established, and they decided to just completely ignore it. And we got what we got.
Props.
To me, there's fan films that are better than most of the new ones. Like, if you want to watch good fan films, go watch like the Darth Maul one or the Darth Revan one. Like, they're immaculate. Even go watch the one by Star Wars Theory, his Vader fan film, which he's actually continuing like the production on the next episode. Like, they're all really good. But yeah, no, that's how I would have done it.
You just make a fan.
That's some dude lore.
because there's no way to change what they've done. There was a way, there is a way to counter it, and counter it within the lore so it makes sense and it still bolsters the new characters that you want to bolster up. And
yeah, because I mean, what's wrong with keeping Ben Solo alive if you're just going to end the trilogy right there? Anyways, they're going to explore new stories.
I hate to say it, and I don't want to be that guy because it'll probably get backlash, but it's more than likely because he's a guy. That's the prime reason, because there was a scene, because when she was beaten, she gets beaten by Palpatine, like hands down. That was one of the original cuts. She gets beaten, and then you see the Force Ghost of Anakin Skywalker heal her and bolster her and give her the strength to get back up and fight. And it's basically Anakin like aiding her through the power of the Force to fight Palpatine. And they cut that. They literally filmed all of that with Hayden Christensen, and they cut it, which is why he came out and said he was pissed. I would be too.
Make you do all this shit for nothing.
Yeah.
There's so many ways to fix it.
Yeah.
But it's too late.
So
That's what we got.
like Kiba was saying earlier, like if I were to like do my own how to fix it, like my opinion, I personally would have the whole new trilogy would have been, it would not have been directly in contact with the old characters. It would have just been new characters that kind of pays homage to what's already happened through the last 6 movies, but just a new story. Just it is a very large galaxy. We went through 9 movies, and we start on Tatooine and we ended in freaking Tatooine, which is a desert planet. Which in the 4th movie they make a very point to say, no one goes to Tatooine. Why would you do that? But they spent so much time on these handfuls of planets that you remember. You're getting that member berries. That
I remember.
I just feel like that if I were redoing them, I would just start from the beginning. Don't have a direct correlation to this Luke Skywalker, to Leia, to Solo. Have new characters, and then be like, oh, by the way, you walk by a billboard and there's a wanted sign for Han Solo, or something like that.
Oh, that would have been amazing.
But he's not directly there, but maybe
cameos and shit. Yeah,
just small cameos here and there. And if you do want to go Jedi, maybe introduce Luke, but
like Luke's running the Jedi temple, like kind of like a Jedi Outcast, where Kyle goes to the temple and like Luke's running it, and Kyle talks to him, and then he leaves.
Yeah, that's my 2 cents on that one. I just feel like they were too directly attached to the other one, and that just gave everyone else a reason to like dislike it. To immediately dislike it, because it's changing and altering things. But if you're,
I know, right?
You also want to see new stuff, but then we're complaining at the new stuff, so it's like, no one can win here.
I think they just don't want the new stuff happening. They want the old stuff to continue, but
no, I think the problem with everybody, the problem that everybody has, is that they messed up the old stuff to make this new stuff.
Did they mess up old stuff?
Force people to like the new stuff by messing up the old stuff.
Yeah, but by changing a lot of what they did, it kind of just nullifies a lot of the established stuff from the old films.
Yes,
and that's basically like I'm in agreement with Kiba on that. It's they used the old stuff, they changed the old stuff to bolster the new stuff, and it still didn't work. So now the old stuff's changed, and now the new stuff's still bad. And like Connor, I like what you said. Like a completely different. That's like, so when I first played Jedi Outcast, that's still probably one of my favorite Star Wars games of all time. If you have the opportunity to play Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Outcast, play it. It's great. You start out, you're Kyle Katarn, you think you're a smuggler, find out, he's pseudo Jedi. You meet Luke, for a brief little bit, you train, you leave, and you go about your business. They could have had the old characters in there as not, prominent features, just as hey, they're still here, they're still doing what you have imagined them doing for how long. Han went back to being a smuggler for, the New Republic who's fighting against X. Leia's doing political things. Luke's training the next generation of Jedi. R2-D2's with him. 3PO's wherever. Lando's at Cloud City. Chewie's with Han. Yeah. And you could have had brief cameos where it's different things, like you said, a wanted poster, or it's they have to go to the planet where the Jedi Temple is, and as they go by the Jedi Temple, they see them training in a courtyard, and Luke's instructing them. Just brief stuff like that. But no, you wanted people to think it was focused around what they loved, and then you changed what they loved to try to make it focus on the new.
Yep.
And that's exactly it. They wanted to make new stuff, but all they did was just rehash the old stuff and just feed it back to us, and
they ruined it in the process.
I wouldn't say they ruined it. I mean, you could still go back and watch it. It's not like
I totally agree. It's just disheartening because to me the biggest kick in the gut, I wanted to see the 3 characters I grew up loving on screen one more goddamn time, and it cannot happen now.
Pour one out for the homies.
They lost the opportunity. It's gone. It's done. I'm not talking about CGI. I'm talking about that Return of the Jedi celebration scene with Han, Luke, and Leia. And it's done.
Oh god,
that's how this ended for me. That's it. This new trilogy is just. I honestly, if like I said, just scrub the Leia, Luke, Han Solo out of that movie, it still works.
Oh, if it had nothing to do
exactly.
I honestly agree with that. If it had nothing to do with the old characters, even if they had cameos, it would work. Replace Palpatine with Snoke. Something. But, what happened.
Yeah, if they like you said, it's kind of like what I was saying. They could have even done the same story. Well, not the same, but just scrub the old characters and just pay slight homages to them as you progress your new story. Because everyone. From what I hear, most people liked Episode 7, but that one was almost a carbon copy of Episode 4 story wise.
Yeah, it hit the member berries real hard.
And it hit everything. New person, new lightsaber, it was Death Star. It hit every note that Episode 4 did, and it was but we all liked it because it was familiar.
It was a setup.
Yeah.
It was oh, where's this leading?
Well, because if you look at it, even if they modeled it after the original trilogy, A New Hope was a setup. You got introduced to the characters, you got a brief intro to the story, what was happening, what was going on in the galaxy at the time, and how everybody met, what happened, and it ends. Okay. Now imagine you get A New Hope, but then with The Empire Strikes Back, Luke trains with, Yoda for a day and then leaves and goes and, pod races. And then you go to a story on Bespin about gambling. And then you go back and a stormtrooper is fighting, a rebel smuggler. And then it ends with Yoda dying. And then you go to Return of the Jedi, and Return of the Jedi is how it is. It makes absolutely no fucking sense. That's literally what happened with the new one. The Force Awakens.
Worst part of it all, not even a single anime titty.
Not a single anime titty.
Is this how we're going to end this, man?
Not a single one.
I didn't get to see anybody play Sabacc.
Oh man.
But no, like honestly, I think that's. I mean, I know people love The Last Jedi. You know, more power to you. I'm not a fan. There are parts in it that are alright, but I dislike it as a film. It is easily my very bottom for Star Wars films because of what it does to stories that have been established.
Yep.
But 7 established those stories, gave you like just enough to like be interested, which is why for the 2 years leading up to The Last Jedi, there were thousands of videos and forums and everything about like Snoke and Rey's parents,
all these possibilities,
all of it. Like, is Finn a Force sensitive?
Where could this go?
And then this movie comes out and crushes everything for the sake of crushing it, and you're left with a clean slate that one movie has to wrap up.
Good old stick on the nards.
All right, who's left? Bambooshco?
Well, I haven't seen like the last movie, so I don't know how it's gonna.
Exactly, you haven't seen it. There you go. How would you end it?
Well, I don't know. Knowing what we told you,
nothing to base it off of. Just go.
Oh,
what's in the box?
Yeah, what's in the box, man? Yeah, what's in the box? Why? When did I don't even know where to start from that. There's so much stuff, man. Oh my god. Just because of that. Oh my god.
Happy ending.
Or
sad.
How was the ending for the last Star Wars movie?
Everybody dies.
Everyone dies.
The Last Jedi? The one before?
No, just the recent one.
Oh,
the
most recent one? Rey's
Yeah.
the only Force user left. She's super powerful, and she assumes the name, or she identifies as a Skywalker now. Even though she's the granddaughter of Emperor Palpatine.
So if you were paying attention in this podcast, you would know this.
There's so much information, man.
Oh, there was a lot. We even ventured
into... talking smack about everything, man.
Like, we ventured into Westeros.
So, his job.
Man, he's trying to just get his own, like, Democrat happening, man.
I always do this to him, so...
Yeah. Oh, man. Just... Raise a Palpatine on that?
Yeah. She is his granddaughter.
That's how they try to salvage this story.
Yep.
Did she end up being good or bad in the end of the movie?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
she's not even completely sure.
Yeah, she doesn't know. She runs away when she thinks she's bad.
Are you serious?
Yeah. She thinks she's turning bad, so she runs away.
Dude, I would have been like, oh, sweet. If she gave the Palpatine, oh my god, that would have been a better story right there.
Oh, dude, what if her eyes turned like red or something?
Dude, I honestly never, like, when you asked me that ending question, I never actually gave it a thought. How because I didn't go, like, I like Connor's route, how he does it in a completely different, like, setting, but it still pays homage to, like, the old, you know what I mean? Whereas I'm taking what they gave us and
that's what I was trying to do too.
Like, I'm taking what they gave and tweaking it, because, like, if you think about it, Luke, I mean, he is the guy, but he has no reason to fight Palpatine. If he's so strong and powerful, he can instill that upon the next generation, and they can do it. And even thinking about it, like, you could have it to where, like, I still think that would have been awesome. Like, I might make a fanfic, to be fair. Because I just think it's cool. Like, now I'm, like, picturing this shit in my head now. Where, you know how they had, like, she, like, Force gave the lightsaber to Kylo?
Over.
That's kind of a cool moment, not gonna lie.
Just accept it. That's it. It's over.
I know, but I'm just saying, they could show that, like, Luke taught them that. And that Luke, like, Force gives his green lightsaber to Kylo, and then... I mean, it would have been dope. Could have been cool.
All right.
It was didn't know that was Rey was Palpatine's daughter.
Granddaughter.
Bambooshco hasn't seen it. He doesn't know how to end this. So
I don't. You put it on me when
go watch it, and then
Arby's been mostly talking about this through the whole stream.
Yeah, I feel like I've talked a lot. I apologize.
You talked through most of the stream, man.
I apologize.
Well, because you're hosting it tonight, so it's all you.
Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah.
It should have been more of a forum setting. I feel like I talked way too much.
But. Yeah, you did that. You asked a couple questions and then immediately just went off on tangents. Like, oh,
I know, right?
My bad.
Bro,
so what do you guys think?
You asked was,
I would have done this. Like,
how have you been introduced to Star Wars and how long have you been listening? And then you mentioned your part, and then just kept going. We're just like, what?
You should have interjected.
Me and Connor were just there, just listening to you guys.
There was no stopping this salt train. It's all good though.
Yeah, it's all Salt Train. This is
all right. Well, Bamboo, go see it, and then at the start of the next podcast, we want to know how you end.
I don't know how long that's gonna be.
My honest opinion of it is a really fun movie to watch. If you don't really give a crap about Star Wars, you'll love it.
I'm like to let you guys know, I'm not a fan of Star Wars. It's not my go-to thing.
Look at his shirt. I don't know if you guys see it.
Fun movie.
Is that Baby Yoda?
Yes.
You'll love it, okay? But honest opinion, I probably will go see it again just because that's how I operate with all these Star Wars movies.
Turn your brain off, basically.
Yeah, the first time I was going in, and now I'm just going to kind of go in with my brain off and see what I thought again. Because I did this I even went and saw 8 twice, and that hurt. But I came out liking 8 a little better. Because I went in with different thoughts and stuff. So that's I personally am going to go see it again just to see if a different palette will either make me like it more or hate it more.
I don't know when I'm exactly going to see this movie, but might be.
This might never happen. Shit.
I'll probably watch YouTube clips or whatever. Be like, hey, yeah, I saw this.
You're not crazy big into Star Wars. You'll live.
If you want to watch a good space movie, there you go.
Okay. Yeah, right. That's my estimate to the movies.
It's good for.
Yeah, we're gonna end this podcast here.
Gonna call it. It was fun.
Yeah, I don't want to make it too long either.
Now, how long have we been going for?
I don't know. It was like 10.
But
no. Like an hour.
It is an hour and 40 minutes. Just straight up Star Wars. I ended my stream.
What else are you going to talk about? Because I was not aware of I didn't have the agenda.
Brief visiting the Westeros.
We didn't have I ended my stream on this.
Okay.
Now let's see. Because it'll be on my VODs on you guys watch it on my stream, whatever.
I'm gonna have to end mine here, but I guess we'll sign off. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Let us know down in the comments how you would have ended the new trilogy or what you would have done different in the new trilogy. Wabbajack, McMoist, you're welcome back anytime.
Oh yeah, pleasure. I'm a guest. Yes, yeah, absolutely.
He's like, yeah, I'm a guest.
I don't have a name yet.
If you also have suggestions or it's something you guys want to talk about, or maybe even be a guest on here, just hit us up.
I think we need topics, like, so we know what we're talking about, because we talk about our first podcast was just about Star Wars, about RB talking about Star Wars. The next podcast should be a list.
You're really passionate about the subject.
Dude, I love
RB was more passionate about anything else in the world.
I love Star Wars.
Yes.
Yeah, Star Wars blanket on him.
The F word's only allowed every 10 minutes, so I hope I can.
One every 10. Okay.
One every 10.
Keep a timer.
But I think for our next podcast, we should talk about what we're going to do so we can set up the time and stuff instead of like having the podcast just straight up like at this time.
This was fun for the first podcast.
Just to get it done. It was good though. It was fun. I rambled.
But we got set up where we actually talk about stuff, because I want to talk about, like, it was in my mind the whole time, but I wanted to talk about like the new trailer for The Quiet Place.
Ooh, yes.
Yeah.
Because I love that movie.
All right,
all right. Let's end this and then we'll keep talking.
Yeah.
So we'll do the outro. I've been RB. Stay amazing. You're next.
Ooh, that guy.
Just go.
Like,
organic.
I did his screen here. I think he was on my screen.
It's not that difficult. Just go.
All right, so that's Bambooshco. He streams at Twitch. TV. How do you spell your name again?
BAMB. What? How do you not know my like?
It's BAMBOOSHCO.
Wait, SHCO. Whatever. Like we'll figure it out later.
And ice cream on Mixer. DJxKiba.
Follow him. Put rubies on him. Make sure like spam him with pizza emotes.
Smear me with rubies. It's called Embers, by the way.
Yeah, the trial starts at $499.
All right, you guys are too much.
What Wabba?
Oh God.
McMoist.
I don't have hands because I don't have a camera, but I'm pointing at some places you'll never know.
Hope you're wearing pants, dude.
And I've been RB. I've been RB. I stream at mixer.com/the_RB_3. Handle on those things.
There.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys for the podcast. Thanks for this. Connor, thanks for hanging out. If you have any ideas for future topics, we're probably going to be doing these like on a weekend night. So if you just want to sit down and talk for, going on 2 hours now.
Oops.
2 hours, man. Yeah. We're editing this like 20 minutes ago.
But yeah, all right. So peace out, ladies and gentlemen.